Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name's Adrian Metcalf of Lighthouse Theatre, based here in Mumbles, and together with Mumbles Community Council, today we're going to embark on another one of our walks to highlight the great sights to see in our village. We're beginning here in Bracelet Bay and moving up there towards Mumbles Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, come with me on another Stumbles Through Mumbles.
In this strange time in which we find ourselves, it is sadly no longer possible for us to welcome you to see our village in person. So Mumbles Community Council have asked us to produce a few short films to allow you to see the sights at home. Ordinarily, we run walking tours of the village throughout the summer months, and this film will reflect a little of these tours. Croeso i'r Mumbles. Bant â ni. This walk will take us from the car park in Bracelet Bay, through the nature reserve of Mumbles Hill, past Second World War remains, and through the back streets of Mumbles into Thistlebourne and Plunch Lane, back towards Limeslade, from where you can return to Bracelet Bay, or continue onward on the coastal path to Rotherslade and Langland, or just sit and have an ice cream. A quick and safe crossing of the road finds you at the footpath to access the nature reserve. It has been a protected site since 1991 and has worked wonders for the health of both the wildlife and the locals. It is a relatively steep climb to the top of the hill, but it's not too far, and my word is it worth it.
Here, looking out over the Bristol Channel, was stationed during the Second World War the 299th Coastal Defence Battery, and you can just see the remains of some of the gun emplacements etched out in the floor in front of us. But what a fabulous view.
During the Second World War, the ports of Swansea, Port Talbot and Neath were strategically of vital importance, and the Coastal Defence Battery was situated here to attack enemy ships coming up the Bristol Channel. It was a gun like this, which fired 6-inch shells, and it was supported by searchlights on both Tut's Head and from the Lighthouse, from which we take our name. Continuing onwards, we eventually come to the tip of Mumbles Hill.
We made it to the top of Mumbles Hill in the nature reserve, and as you can see, the views out over Swansea Bay towards Dylan Thomas's ugly, lovely town are worth the climb. But it was a very different view from here on February the 19th, 20th, 21st, 1941. A period in Swansea history and Mumbles history that we call the Three-Night Blitz.
Over these 3 nights during the Second World War, Swansea suffered a barrage of incendiary and high explosive bombing. More than 60 bombers per night dropped ton after ton of bombs, which resulted in the destruction of over 40 acres of the town centre, removing a lot of the old town forever. The fires raged and the hills of Swansea were seen for miles around. Mumbles escaped relatively unscathed, but the stories of local residents during that time make fascinating reading. In particular, the writings of Laurie Latchford and Grafton Maggs.
So here, in the nature reserve on Mumbles Hill, we have some fascinating remains from the Second World War. Here are some of the remnants of the gun batteries of the 623 heavy anti-aircraft artillery.
It was the job of these guns to protect Swansea and the surrounding area against the bombers, but during the 3-Night Blitz, there were just too many aeroplanes for them to cope. The remains are all over the hill: foundations, gun emplacements and bunkers. There are a number of paths that lead down from the hill. This one leads to the front by the George and the Pilot pubs and Verdi's ice cream parlour. We are taking this path through Michael's Field and out back onto the road at the top of Western Lane. We turn left on Thistlebourne and keep walking until we reach a blue plaque tucked in the back streets of Mumbles. Morfydd Owen, was a composer, singer and musician of the highest quality, who was beginning to forge a career across the world. She'd already been made a member of the Gorsedd of Bards, one of the highest honours available to a Welsh musician, and was considered one of the most talented people of her generation. While on holiday here in 1918, she became ill. A hasty operation followed, and she did not survive. A post-mortem was not performed.
And it was here, behind these walls at Craigamore, between Plunch Lane and Thistlebloom, in the back streets of Mumbles, on the top of Mumbles Hill, lived and died in tragic circumstances in 1918, the world-renowned composer, Morfydd Owen. Local historians said that her tragic death robbed the world of a great talent. But as I say, there are some who say she died in mysterious circumstances.
Local musician and a member of the Gorsedd himself, Griff Harris, says her early death robbed the world of a special talent. We follow the road around now and back down the hill, passing the entrance to Mumbles Cricket Club, and more footpaths that lead over the cliffs to Langland and beyond. But we are on our way to Limeslade.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to the bottom of Plunch Lane and the end of today's walk. We're here outside Fort's Ice Cream Parlour, an old Mumbles tradition. One of 4 fabulous ice cream parlours we've got here in Mumbles, along with Joe's Ice Cream, Verdi's and Ripple's, just outside Limeslade Bay. And Bracelet Bay, where we started, is no more than 200 yards over there to my left. You can continue the walk if you want. You can continue this way, going on towards Langland and Caswell on the Gower Coastal Path. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, thanks ever so much for watching. And we'll leave you with some music by the great composer Morfydd Owen, played by local harpist Llinos Daniel.